Cal 2 final review. The integral Okay, first we'll use algebra to simplify that. Divide both of those top things by x. 3x to the fifth divided by x would be 3x to the fourth. 5x squared divided by x would be 5x. Okay, so this will be our regular integration rule, the basic power rule. We're going to add 1 and divide by it to the power. Add 1 and divide by it. Okay. There's no limits in the integral, so that's an indefinite integral, so plus c. Number 2. Okay, see how the top power is 1 less than the bottom? So we're going to use u substitution. U is what's at the bottom. Always write du. So the derivative of 5x to the fourth would be 20x cubed. Du, so du is 20x cubed dx. Okay, we don't have the 20 that we need, so I can multiply it in. So I'm going to multiply in a 20. I have to multiply 1 over 20 so that I haven't actually changed that problem. Because 20 times 1 over 20 is 1, which means all I've done is multiply a 1. Okay, so 1 over 20 outside. 20x cubed dx is du. And on bottom, that is u. So 1 over 20. The integral of du over u is ln of u. But we always put it back in terms of what u was in terms of x. Okay, it's always the absolute value when you have ln. When you integrate du over u, it's the ln of u. Okay, number 3 asks to find the area between two curves, or two functions. Okay, so the minus x squared is an upside down parabola, and y equals 2x minus 4 is a line. Okay, so first we need to find out where they intersect. Okay, find out where those points, where those graphs intersect. So that would be finding where the two graphs are equal. So we're going to set them equal to each other and solve. Okay, those two x's that are on the other side, if you subtract 2x on both sides, that's gone. So we have minus x squared equals minus 4. Divide by negative 1. So x squared equals 4. So that means x equals plus or minus 2. Okay, because positive 2 squared and negative 2 squared both equal 4. Okay, so these are equal when x is 2 and negative 2. Okay, now I'm going to make a table for x and y. Okay, if y equals 2x minus 4, okay, plugging in some numbers to find the graph, okay? So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 minus 4, okay? plug in the rest of these. Plug in for x to get y. Okay, of course, this is a line. This is our intercept. Okay, so what's my second one? Y equals 2x minus x squared. I'm going to do -3 to 3 again. Okay, when you plug in, I don't have enough space to work it out, but you plug in -3 in for x. Okay, notice we said that the graphs intersects at -2 and +2. Okay, so let's graph these to see what area we're finding. Okay, I'm going to graph the line in blue. Okay, so -3, 10, -2, 8, -1, -6, 0, -4. Okay, this dot right here is a little too far up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, -2, 2, 0, 3, 2. Okay, this is a straight line. Okay, we didn't really have to plug in because we could have used our slope, but I wanted to plug in so we could see that at -2 and +2, it's the same point. That's where it's going to intersect. Okay, let's do this one. Let's stay on red. So this is going to be red, the parabola. So I've got -3, -15. Or I really don't need to go down that far. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so at -3, -15, -2, -8. Okay, so it goes through here. -1, -3. 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 0. Okay. So what are we finding? We're finding the area in between here. Okay, so we can see that the parabola is the higher one. Okay, when you integrate, you're finding the area below that. Okay, so when we find the area below the parabola, we'll subtract the area that's below the line, and that will give us that area in between. Okay, so this is 3 continued. We're finding the area between -2 and 2. The parabola is higher than the line. Okay, just do some algebra. Distribute the negative. (2x minus 2x is 0. Oh, this was x squared, sorry, x squared. So we get minus x squared plus 4. Okay, now we're going to integrate. the integral from -2 to 2 of negative x squared plus 4 dx. Add 1 and divide by it. The integral of 4 is 4x. Okay, so you plug in the top number, so that's going to be minus 2 cubed is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. You subtract. Okay, now you plug in the bottom number. Okay, so negative times negative times negative would be -8, but then there's this negative in front of it. So this is +8. And 4 times -2 is -8. Distribute that negative for the parentheses. Okay, you can use your calculator or do it by hand. 32 over 3. Okay, number 4, we're going to be using the fact that volume is area times height. Okay, and area is pi r squared. Okay, so the volume can be area times height. Okay, so the area is pi r squared, and the height is the function. Okay, so what we'll be doing is integrating from 0 to 4. Okay, gonna bring out that pi. Okay. Oh, I kind of got ahead of myself. I didn't graph it. Okay. It's the function's y equals x squared from 0 to 4. Okay. So r is the radius, which is x, but x needs to be squared. Okay. The height is the function, which is x squared. Okay. The height is x squared squared. Okay. And then dx. Okay, so we're integrating x to the 4th, which is x to the 5th over 5 from 0 to 4. So we do 4 to the 5th over 5 minus 0 to the 5th over 5. And so we get 1024 with the pi that's out front over 5. Okay, find the derivative of an ln. Okay, so let's think of this as ln of u. So we'll take the derivative of ln, the derivative of ln. We also need to identify what u is, which is sine of x to the 4th. Okay, the derivative of sine is cosine, but we also take the derivative of the part right here, which is 4x cubed, and also with a dx. Okay, so the derivative of, let me erase, I'm writing different steps here. Okay. Okay, so y is the ln of u. dy dx, we do 1 over u and times du. Okay, 1 over u and du. So dy dx equals, okay, so this is the same as du over u. So du is 4x cubed cosine. U is sine. Okay, you have to know your trig identities. So this is 4x cubed. Cotangent is the cosine over sine. Okay, so this is cotangent of x to the 4th. Okay, integrating e. The integral of e to the u du is e to the u. Okay, so u is what the exponent is. So du is 4 dx. That means that 7 is unnecessary. So the 7's going to come up front. I need a 4 because I need 4 dx. So I'm going to times a 4 and divide a 4. So that's 4e to the 4x dx. The 4 and the dx is du. That's e to the u. Okay, so this is 7 over 4. The integral of e to the u is e to the u, but u is 4x. Okay, it's not plus c because we got to plug in the numbers. Okay, so 7 over 4, e to the 4x from 0 to 3. Okay, when I am integrating a definite integral, I'll just like to have any numbers up front. Just leave them like that. It makes it easier. So e, plug in 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Plug in 0. 4 times 0 is 0. Okay. Remember the definite integral, you plug in the top number for x, subtract, plug in the bottom. Okay, so 4 times 0 is 0. So that's 7 over 4. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay, you could distribute that 7 over 4, but just leave it like that. The integral of sine 4x dx plus the integral of the cotangent of 2x dx. Okay, for sine, the derivative of the cosine is negative sine. So we're going to need a negative. The derivative of cosine is sine, but you also have to take the derivative of the 4x. So we need a 4. So we're going to divide by 4. The derivative of cosine is negative sine, but the derivative of cosine 4x is 4 sine. So the integral of this is cosine 4x. Okay, you can memorize the cotangent, but all you really have to do is change it to cosine over sine. Okay. Now the derivative of sine 2x would be 2 cosine. So times 2 1/2 on the outside. So this is 1/2. This is now du over u, because the derivative of sine 2x is 2 cosine 2x. So this is ln of u, which is sine of 2x. Okay, the derivative of an inverse tan, this is a product rule. So I'm going to take the derivative and then rewrite the other. Plus, now I rewrite the first. Okay, the derivative of tangent. Okay, you put the derivative of the angle, and it's 1 plus the square of the angle. Okay, so 3x times 3x is 9x squared. Four x times 3 is 12x. Okay, all those formulas need to know. Okay, the integral of 1 over x squared plus 1 is the arctangent of x. That's one of our formulas. But we need to evaluate a definite integral from 0 to 1. Okay, so we need the arctan of 1, plug in 1 for x, minus the arctan, plug in 0. Okay. Tangent is y over x. So that means the arctangent of 1 is where y over x equals 1. That's when y and x are equal, so that's pi over 4. Okay, you've got to also know your limits of where the inverses are defined. The arctan of 0 would be where y over x equals 0. Okay, so that happens at angle 0. So that's pi over 4. Okay, integration by parts. U is always ln if you have it. If not, look at the algebra part. So u is going to be 2x. dv is the rest of it. So du is the derivative of 2x. V is the integral of e to the 4x, okay, which we would have to multiply in a 4. So it's 1/4. Multiply in the 4 because you have to have the derivative of e to the 4x. So the integral of e to the 4th is 1/4 e to the 4x, because if you integrate it, you'd have to times in that 4. Okay, so it's u times v minus the integral of v times du. U is 2x, v is 1/4 e to the 4x, integral of v and du is 2 dx. Okay, I'm going to clean this up before I integrate. 2x times 1/4, that would be x over 2. Okay, inside this integral, 1/4 times 2 is 1/2. So I'm going to bring that out. Okay, now we got to integrate e to the 4x again. Okay, which is same thing, multiply a 4 and a 1/4. Let's clean this up. 1/4 and 1/2 is 1/8. The 4 dx is du, so that's the integral of e to the u. So I've got x over 2 e to the 4x. The integral of e to the u is e to the u. Okay, the other part are some general questions. Those first 10 problems are the SLO questions, which means they're required. Okay, the rest of this stuff is some basic integration. Okay, so this is going to be our regular power rule. Add, divide. Add 1 to the power and divide. The integral of 3 is 3x. Okay, I'm going to clean this up before I put the plus c. 6 over 4 is 3 over 2. Okay, a basic power rule. Okay, on this one, I'm going to change that 1 over x5 to x to the negative 5. So I can use my power rule. Okay, so I'm going to add 1 to negative 5 and divide by it. Add, divide. The integral of 1/4 is 1/4 x. Okay, I'm just going to clean up that first part. So that would be minus 1/4. Bring that x to the negative back down. Okay. Anytime you see a power less than something else, think of letting what's inside there be u. So u is x cubed minus 10. Du is 3x squared. There's dx, dx. Okay, I'm going to times in the 3 that I needed for 3x squared. 1/3 balances. So this is 1/3. 3x squared dx is du. What's in the parentheses is u, so this is u to the fourth. Okay. The goal is here to get just a letter to a power so we can use the power rule. So this is 1/3. Add 1, divide. So 1/3, and then that other 5 on bottom, 3 times 5 is going to give me 15 down here. U is x cubed minus 10, and it's raised to the 5th. Okay, I always put it back in terms of x. Okay, a basic definite integral, okay, using just a real easy integration. Add 1 and divide by it. Our limits are -1 and 4. Always plug in the top number. Whoops, I got it. Oh, I'm going to do the little algebra first. The 5/5 gives me just x to the 5th there. Okay, so I do 4 to the 5th. You subtract. Then you do -1 to the 5th. 4 to the 5th is 10/24. Subtract. A negative raised to an odd number is a negative. Subtract a negative is addition. Okay. There's 6 other problems. Okay. 3 are evaluating trig, which means you need to be able to create that whole circle. Okay, create that whole circle. You need to know that the cosine is x, sine equals y, tangent equals y over x. So the cosine of something is the x coordinate. The secant flips cosine. Cosecant flips sine, so 1 over y. And cotangent is the flip of the tangent. Okay, another 3 problems will be to evaluate inverse tangent, okay, and knowing what the specific quadrants are. Okay, cosine is the easiest. The inverse cosine means what angle has that x value. Okay, I give you the x value, you give me the angle. That's what inverse cosine means. Cosine is easy because your positives are here, your negatives are here. So inverse cosine is defined on 0 to pi. Okay, this is 0 and this is pi. So that means you only give an angle between 0 and pi for inverse cosine. Okay, now sine and tangent inverse. Okay, if it's positive, it's no problem. Okay, your positive sines are quadrant 1. Your positive tangents are also Q1, quadrant 1. Okay, the quadrant one. Negative sine or negative tangent, you use quadrant 4, but you have to call them the negative angles. Okay, so for inverse sine and inverse tangent, they're defined on negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Okay, which means answer has to be between those values. Okay, inverse means I give you the value, you tell me what angle. Okay, the negative sine and the negative tangent are harder because you have to call these the negative angles. Okay, but remember the negative angles are just symmetric from the positive ones.